So we're going to do a tasting today, herb tasting of maimendong-ophiopogon. This is the root actually of it's kind of grass. Maimendong is kind of grass. It's a dwarf lily grass. Actually, it's similar to wheat, in fact. And actually, the fact that it's related to wheat is perhaps one of the reasons why maimendong goes to the heart, because wheat is something which goes to the heart. And this is maimendong, so this is a little radix of that plant. And maimendong, as you can see after cooking it, it's a fairly light color, so it's an herb that is of this lighter nature. It's an herb that tonifies yin, so we can see both in the color that it has this very light quality, and in fact, like this color of this root, we would call that white. That's a kind of white color. So we know immediately from looking at the root that it's going to be something, because of the white color, which is going to go to the lungs, or perhaps it's going to be slightly cooling, because things which are white are typically cooling or go to the lungs, or both. In this case, both, because maimendong is going to be a herb that's lung yin tonic, as well as being slightly cooling. One thing that's interesting about it, just visually, so this is after it's been cooked, and we can see how much it plumped up. So the ability of the root to absorb water is also going to be a key for us to understand its ability to nourish yin. So it nourishes yin fluid, because the herb, you see, has this affinity with being able to take on water. And it also is an herb which can be used to help with constipation. So that's another key, because this ability of the herb to then use that absorption of water and then moisten the intestines. So you see this in this way that's plumped right up. So this hasn't actually cooked that long. I mean, I think we had this cooking only maybe for about 40 minutes in a relatively low heat, so we don't have a very good herb cooker here. So that's quite plumped up for that time. So we taste it. The smell's actually a very nice smell. That maimendong, when it's cooking, has a very nice smell. Has this kind of almost nutty kind of smell to it, and it smells sweet. So you can sort of smell the sweetness and nuttiness in it. We would say that this is an herb which is thin. That's a kind of older classification that we don't really see anymore in the Materia Medica. It's considered a thin taste. So it's like they used to classify herbs in terms of thickness and thinness, of almost like the volume in the mouth, how it feels in the mouth, texture in the mouth. So this is a relatively thin herb. And typically speaking, herbs which are going to be thinner, relatively thin, are going to have this lighter color. So it's a yin tonic herb. So it's a yin tonic herb with this light color and thin texture in the mouth. So immediately, just from that, we would know that this is going to be tonifying more of the thinner fluids, tonifying more of the fluids of the lungs and stomach. So if we make a distinction between yin tonics, which are going to tonify stomach and lung yin, versus yin tonics, which are going to tonify the kidney and liver yin, just visually speaking, we can see the difference, as well as feel the difference in our mouth. So visually speaking, these lighter colored textures are going to be this lighter fluid that they're going to tonify. If this was an herb that was going to tonify the liver and kidney yin, it would be a heavier, darker color, and it would have a heavier, darker feeling in the mouth. So we have that lightness or thinness in the mouth. And just like that sweet smell that we had, this is a sweet taste, a slightly sweet taste, also telling us it's going to nourish fluids. And it's very slightly bitter. So that slightly bitter taste is means that the herb is also cooling. So we can like put all of this together. You see, we actually know quite a bit about what the herb does without even really studying directly its functions. Just from visually looking at it, we know something about the color. From looking at how the herb absorbs water, We learned something about its function in terms of moistening the intestines, in terms of moistening yin. From the visual look of the type of fluid, we know it's a thinner fluid. From its aroma, we know that it's somewhat nourishing and sweet. And then from its taste, of course, very directly from its taste, we have this thin taste. We're going to know it's going to be more light and go to the upper body. It's an herb that goes to the lungs, herbs that goes to the heart too. So we know that lightness brings it to the upper body, and we know that the quality of the fluids of the yin that it's going to tonify is going to be more of a lighter yin, to be able to flush things out. And then slightly bitter, in terms of taste, tells us that it's going to be slightly cooling too. So we get a lot of information without having to open up the book and look at functions of the herbs. So this is maimendong-ophiopogon. Delicious.